Giving your visitors a way to contact you through your website is one of the most important parts of your website. People are most likely visiting your website because they're seeking information, but sometimes they can't find what they're looking for, or other times they might just have questions. Even if you have options to leave comments on your posts, it's always a good idea to have a contact form as a general way for people to get in touch with you. So, you might be wondering, why a contact form and not just an email address? Well, depending on your business, you might not always want your email address visible. If you have something like info@yourbusiness.com, then it's not a big deal, and you probably should have that listed on your website. But if you haven't committed to an email address that matches your business yet, I would suggest using a contact form as a way to mask your email. And here's what I mean. If your email is something like DragonLady1986 or something goofy like that, or you're using a Gmail or an @Yahoo or at anything other than your website, it's going to look unprofessional to your visitors. A form allows people to email you without ever seeing your email address. Another reason to use the contact form is to make it easy for people to contact you. Sometimes copy and paste or waiting for an email client to open is a big deterrent for people. It's much easier for them to fill out a form that's right there in front of them when all they have to do is type in the message and click send. Today, I'm going to show you how to add a form to your WordPress website, sync it to your email, and embed it in your website so that you can have an easy way for your visitors to contact you. First, log into your WordPress dashboard and hover over Plugins on the menu. Select Add New, which takes us to the WordPress repository. We're going to search for a plugin called Pojo Forms, which is one of the most simple form plugins out there. Once you've found it, click Install Now. And once installed, click Activate Plugin. Now, in your dashboard, you're going to see a menu item called Forms. Hover over it and click Add New. The first thing you want to do here is give your form a name. To keep it simple, we'll just call it Contact Form. Before we go any further, just remember that we want to make it as simple as possible for people to contact you. So even though there are lots of cool features in this plugin, we want our form to be as minimal as possible to encourage people to use it. So we're going to add only 3 fields. We're going to do name, email, and message. We're not going to require a subject line because it's just an extra step and it's not really necessary. Instead, we're going to use the subject as a way to let you know that this email came from your website. When you're ready, click Add Field to start building your form. This will be our name field. So we're going to leave it as a text field and we're going to label it Your Name. Click Add Field again, and this time we'll change the field type to email and we'll label it Your Email. Last, click Add Field one more time, but instead of text, we're going to change this to Text Area. This gives your visitors a larger area to compose their message. We'll label it Your Message and we'll leave the number of rows at 5 for now. When you finish building your form, you have a few form style options below. You can play with these settings if you want, and if you want to change the appearance of the fields, you can do so by going to Form Style and selecting Custom Style. I'm going to leave mine as default for now. The same goes for button style. You can change the button text or appearance here, but I'm going to leave mine as the default setting. Now, when you've got your form configured, save your draft and click Preview to see how it looks. This looks pretty good to me, but I don't want my name and email to be on separate lines. I want them to be side by side. Also, I need to make sure that all these fields are required so that people won't be able to send me an email without filling out this information. So we'll close this and we'll go back to our field settings. For our name field, I'm going to click Settings and I'm going to take a look at the advanced options. Here, I'm going to check the required box, which makes it mandatory, and I'm going to reduce the field width from 100% down to 50%. I'll go down to the email field and do the same. Under the message field, I'm also going to check required, but I'm going to leave it as 100% wide. I'm also going to make it a little bit longer by changing 5 lines to 7. Now let's save our draft and click Preview to see the updates. Now that the name field and email field are side by side and everything's required, it looks much better. Now all that's left to do is configure it so it knows where to send your email. To do this, we'll close the preview and we'll look at form options in the right-hand column. In the Email To box, put your email address. This is how it knows where to send this message. The email subject is the subject line your email is going to have. By default, this is set up to let you know that the message is coming from your website's contact form. The same goes for from name and from email. So we're going to leave these as default. Next is the Reply To option, and this one's important. In order for your email client to know where to reply to, we'll go back up to the email field that we created and we'll click on the advanced settings again. Copy the shortcode ID and then paste it into the reply to section. Now, when someone sends you a message and you go to respond, your email client will know which email address to reply to. Lastly, you have the redirect option, which lets you put in a web page to redirect the visitor to after they send you a message. This can be a thank you page or your home page, or you can leave it blank and it'll give them a success message, but it'll keep them on the same page. I'm going to leave it blank for now. The form data checkboxes allow you to toggle on and off the information that will be collected when a message is sent. Messages allows you to customize the message that your users will see when they're completing your form. I usually leave this as default. The reCAPTCHA option protects you from spam by making your visitors go through an extra step of validation before sending your message. You only need to worry about this if you find that you're getting a lot of spam mail. Now that you're all done, click Publish. Once your form is published, you can embed it into any page or post on your website using the shortcode. Notice the shortcode on the right side of your screen. Copy this and paste it wherever you want your form to appear. Here, I've created a page called Contact Me, and I've pasted the shortcode ID into that page and published it. When I view the page, I see the form that I created. All that's left to do now is to give it a test to make sure that it's working. I usually number these so that I know which test was successful if I end up having to do multiple tests. If it's working properly, you'll get a success message at the bottom. Now go to your email. You should see the email come through within the next minute or so, but if not, remember to check your junk folder. Once you see the email come through, it'll contain all the information you filled out in the form. If you click reply, it should let you reply to the email address you entered when filling out the form. With this contact form, you've created a simple and convenient way for your visitors to contact you, and you've also learned how to use the Pojo form builder, which can come in handy for several other types of forms down the road.